Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Hope you're having a great Monday. Tonight we welcome Hunter Harris from Love and Marriage DC to tell us about everything that's going on so far this season, season 3. We might draw all over social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, of course, our official website, thestephennightshow.com. Check out our merch. And please make sure you register to vote. We have a very important election and want your voice to be heard. It is Black History Month. And today we are recognizing Moneta Sleep. In 1996, he won the Pulitzer Prize, for featured photography for his photo of Coretta Scott King and Martin Luther King Jr.'s funeral. He was the first African American to win the award. So shout out to him. And as you know, we are continuing our search for our guest co-host, female guest co-host, but Brittany keeps coming on back, and we appreciate it.
I enjoy it. Y'all are fun. I enjoy it.
So thank you so much for joining us tonight. How's everybody feeling on this Monday?
Blessed.
Monday, right? Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah, the weather nasty outside.
It was nasty, right? And then coming after Super Bowl, I was watching one of the shows today, and the co-host said, "I'm hungover, by the way, so y'all lucky I'm here." The week said on TV. But anyway, our question of the day is, what's been the hardest part about being an adult? I ask you, Lanier.
Forgiving the people who hurt me.
That's a good one. What about you, Chica? Oh, sorry.
No, I just said letting go and letting God.
Chica, what about you?
Being responsible all the damn time.
Right. It's a good one. When I went to the Super Bowl party last night, and I was trying to, should I stay late or should I go home? And I went home. I was home by 10:30 because I knew I had a busy day today. What about you, Brittany?
Being responsible.
Yep. I didn't want to.
Chike took my answer. I was gonna say it's a responsibility for me. Like it should be like, and then for those people that be having like the auto draft out their account for the bills and stuff, I feel like that's too mature. Like I need to go in and submit my payments every time to make sure that I give you permission. Like just adulthood is the ghetto for me. Like it's so many like responsibilities. It's like no matter how much money I make, it's more bills to pay. It's like I hate that.
More money, more problem.
Yeah.
For me, it's managing everything because I know like you all have a lot going on too. It's just everything, keeping everything managed and balanced in your life. That can be very difficult. But tweet us on, let us know what's the hardest part about being an adult. Stephen Knight Show, SHL. All right, well, the Kansas City Chiefs have submitted themselves as the next dynasty in NFL, defeating the San Francisco 49ers 25-22 in overtime of Super Bowl 58 for back-to-back championships in their third title in 5 seasons. It's the first time since the New England Patriots during the 03-04 seasons that an NFL team has won back-to-back Super Bowls, and it's the 9th time in history it's been achieved. It's awesome. It's legendary. And that's what MVP Patrick Mahomes said after the win. And if anyone needed any confirmation that it was the start of a dynasty, look no further than Holmes himself. Congrats to the Chiefs. We're going to talk about the halftime show, but did you all watch the game? I'll start with you, Chike.
Well, half-assed. I was in and out. I was dipping in and out until we got to the halftime. And then I was glued in. I will say this, though. It was good to watch in the sense of the way the scores was going. You know what I mean? San Francisco was ahead for a minute, and then it flipped.
Yeah. Yep. Lania, did you watch?
No. Because my team got sent home a long time ago. And I was only there for the halftime show, so that's when I turned on the game. Everything else, I would have preferred for San Francisco to win because I can't stand Taylor Swift. I can't stand Travis Kelce. All that whole little thing that's going on right now, I'm cool.
someone was talking about, she was it Tokyo or somewhere she had to perform the night before, and they were saying they were following her voice. She said, for what? Is she about to play? Where's she going? You know what I mean? Brittany, did you watch?
No, I heard there was a football game during my man's concert, so that's the only time I tuned in because I love Usher. So,
Yeah.
Usher, if you see this, baby, I love you. Like, it was great.
Well, I did watch. I was trying to decide if I was going to the Super Bowl party, first of all, because one, it was raining yesterday, and I had a full weekend, and I knew I had to get up. I mean, I knew I had a busy Monday, but I ended up going. But I went in the second quarter. I went, so I was watching the game with my phone, but it was really good. It was. I think games like this are the ones championships are supposed to be, where it's overtime and last minute plays that really submit the game. So I was going for the Chiefs. I figured they were going to win anyway, but so shout out to the Chiefs. I saw something that said Colin Kaepernick said to the 49ers, until you do right by me, nothing you do. But shout out to Audra Day. She sang up there, voice and sing. Reed McIntyre sang the national anthem. And I didn't see Post Malone's performance, but he performed America Beautiful. I didn't see that though. But shout out to all of them. But let's talk about the halftime show. Most people said that Usher was having the game was around the concert. Well, anyway, he brought out JD, Alicia Keys, her, Luda, will.i.am, who a lot of people thought was Kanye West at first because of the mask, and then Little John, of course. He had a medley of his hits. Also included the Kappa Phi, Kappas, Men of Kappa Phi Alpha Incorporated, and the HBC Marching Band. Now, there was a little controversy. He performed My Boo with Alicia Keys, and at the end, he grabbed her by the waist, which a lot of people thought that you could tell they wouldn't rehearse because Alicia Keys kind of looked surprised, but she played it off. She was a pro. And people were saying, Mr. Still Your Girl, he's back at it. But Swizz Beatz took to Instagram and said that he's not dealing with any negativity, and he congratulated both Usher and Alicia Keys on this performance, said it was the song of the classic. Now there was some controversy with Alicia Keys. So when she first started off, she was singing If I Ain't Have You, and her voice cracked when she first started. And so it actually cracked twice, but when she first started, but she pushed through. But what's on YouTube, there's no crack. The NFL's YouTube page, they've edited the vocals. But she went on to then she looked amazing, by the way. Her killed it. They said that she was on the level of Prince type when she did her interlude. But I'm gonna ask you all. I know you all, most of y'all, that was your main reason for turning on the TV last night. So I'll start with you, Brittany. What'd you think about the performance?
I loved it. I loved it so much. And I was actually talking with family members. It has to be like in one of my top three. Michael Jackson, number one, Beyonce and Bruno, number two, and then Usher, number three. I would say Prince is like around number four for me. But I really love this one. I loved all the songs. I felt like he didn't do his songs long enough. I got like 10-second snippets, and I was mad about that because I wanted him to finish some songs. Then Alicia's voice did crack, and AI fixed it. I felt like Usher, he is definitely the R&B version of Future. So he is definitely stealing girls, and I cannot wait to go to his concert. And then his stamina to be roller skating and singing like that. It was a great show for me. So I enjoyed it.
I heard some negative feedback. They said that his the sound system wasn't working that great. There were a few people that said they didn't care for it. Most of what I heard was positive reviews. Someone also said that it didn't flow well, and he should have started off with songs that we all know. That person wasn't black and wanted to say, I knew every song he performed. It was singing along. But Lanier, what are your thoughts on the performance?
I mean, it was cool. Me being me, Michael Jackson is always going to be number one for me.
That's your boy.
Michael Jackson, then Prince, then Beyonce and Bruno. So, and whoever else is after that. Amanda Seales made a funny comment. Amanda Seales said, this was Blackity Black, and it was good. They probably gonna try country next year.
They said Taylor Swift. They said Taylor Swift next year.
Yeah, they're probably gonna do something else. She's like, he had stripper poles, he had My favorite part, Alicia Keys looked beautiful. That whole ensemble she had on was gorgeous. My favorite part was her tore it down with that guitar solo. I absolutely enjoyed her. And it was nice to see the male version of Orphan Annie and Jermaine Dupri with them church socks on and outfit. Even though he put up a post that said that they were Louis Vuitton, I don't think they was Louis Choo Choo. You shouldn't have that outfit on.
They were hideous.
Listen, them look like me and Chika already had a conversation about this. Look like the Mary Jane socks I used to wear back in the day when I went to church and they forced me to wear a dress. So I thought it was CeeLo at first. I would have understood it, but Jesus, he did a good job. And yes, he could have. It was like he was singing like a line or two, and then they would move on. So I know you're trying to get a lot into a little bit, but
yeah, he said when Jay-Z. So I saw an interview he did with Gayle King, and he said that he extended his residency when he knew that the Super Bowl was coming to Vegas, that there was the chance it was coming. He extended so he would be there, and he kind of manifested for himself. And so when he reached out to Jay-Z, and Jay-Z said, "Make it for the culture, make your performance for the culture." And I think he definitely did that. Chike, what are your thoughts on the performance?
Oh, I thought it was A+.
Yeah.
Outside of the messed up notes and the Munchkin socks, I thought that it was perfect.
Yeah.
I want to shout out my friend and friend to the show, Natika Hemingway. Usher sang a piece of the song that she wrote, Superstar. So I want to shout her out. I know that was a good feeling to be at home and you hear your art on TV in such a big platform. So shout out to her. And I just want to say, Pharrell, I respect you. I love your music. And for the most part, I have a couple of your pieces. But them socks for Louis Vuitton, with the pearl button on the side, you might want to revisit that, bro. Like that wasn't hitting.
You said Pharrell. You know that, right?
He designed
the socks.
Yeah,
He's a creative brand or something like that now for Louis Vuitton.
Never mind.
Yeah, but I want to ask y'all, did y'all pay attention to the song where Usher has to say a former record mogul's name and it was omitted from the song?
Are you talking about Diddy?
I wasn't going to say the name, but yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, it was reported that Justin Bieber was asked to perform. I don't know if this was true, but I saw it two places, and he turned it down. They said no bad blood between him and Usher. He just wasn't feeling it. I guess he wasn't in that space to be performing, but I don't know if that's true or not. Well, Beyonce, she had a commercial during the Super Bowl about breaking the internet, and she pretty much did. She released two songs. Since she's in her country era, she released two singles, Texas Hold'em and 16 Carriages. Both are #1 and #2 on iTunes, by the way, in the country charts. First Black woman to do that. But some people thought that they said it was almost like proposing at someone else's wedding. I saw someone say she didn't even give Usher 24 hours. But other people were like, well, she waited till the end of this show. She didn't do it during the show. You know what I mean? Where, because typically when artists perform at the Super Bowl and things like that, their sales go up, their hits. But anyway, before we move on, K. Michelle, minding her business like everybody else, someone tweeted her on X saying, has anybody checked on K. Michelle? Beyonce's bringing the pressure to country. And K. Michelle loved her response. She said, why would anyone need to check on me? I'm one of the greatest African-American country singers of all time with no album even out yet. Y'all have been mentioning me all night. I'm just happy to be spoke about in my genre. She said, I love Bey and will continue to support her as I always do. I thought that was the best way to respond to that. But let me ask you two questions. One, do you think Beyonce should have waited to drop this? This is Act 2 of her Renaissance, by the way. Which the album comes out in March. I'll start with you, Chike. And
No,
what do
why?
you think about
I
K
don't get
Michelle's
that.
response? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't get that. Why can't more than one person be at the top? I don't get that.
Mm-hmm.
She's doing what she has to do for her career. It was an opening. The spotlights are out. Why not jump out there?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I was almost suspecting that she would be at the Super Bowl because she normally is the bad girl for Usher. So, I knew I was going to see her some at point in time last night.
On the stage, she
Some
was
point.
there. She was there at the actual Super Bowl, but she wasn't obviously didn't perform.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but someone said, is that why she was dressed like I forgot who the country person was at the Grammys. I mean the Oscars, because she had the cowboy hat on. But I guess that's why she's starting to promote that. Linnea, what do you think about Beyonce dropping these singles, and why are people messing with K Michelle?
If this was a white person, we wouldn't be having this discussion. Period. The purpose of the Super Bowl, most of the time, yes, people are watching the game.
Right.
But the top reasons people watch the Super Bowl, the commercial,
yep,
and the halftime show.
Mm-hmm.
Period. And everybody and their mama comes out during halftime. I ain't heard not one person say anything about Kanye $7 million commercial.
Mm-hmm.
You heard about him dropping nothing. He paid $7 to do a commercial on his phone just so you can go to his site about purchasing some of his stuff. Ain't nobody said one word about it.
Yep.
Always, I don't care what nobody say. It's always black and white. It's always an issue when it comes to us and doing something. That's the perfect time.
Yeah.
Like to even say that is ridiculous. Me personally, I don't. So I haven't listened to any of K Michelle's music, so I don't know what she is. But her response was classy.
Yeah.
And what it was, this is what happens. They want to pit us against each other. They don't do that to nobody else, but we allow it.
Yeah.
Because then everybody runs with it. The same way they run it with this Alicia Keys and Usher thing, that done turned into a whole situation, and it shouldn't even, not that serious.
Right.
Not this.
Right.
So,
and K Michelle, she's been welcomed by the country community. She performed at the CMAs last year. There are a lot of, believe it or not, there are a lot of Black women in country music now. You know what I mean? So it doesn't have to be one against another. But Brittany, what are your thoughts on this?
I didn't see a problem with it. I mean, after Usher performed, I turned my TV off anyway. And then number two, who don't have Usher's hits and catalogs on their iTunes already? Like, I don't need to re-download nothing. I already got all his albums. And then, so I was ready for Beyonce's drop after her commercial. I saw that coming. And then I love the Ode to Country in Texas. I think that's where I'm from. So it's just in time for the rodeo. Houston Livestock and Rodeo is at the end of February, and it came out just in time for us to do our little two-step there. And then we always show out in our country western gear. And then I think K Michelle was brought up because K Michelle did have a difficult time. And what I saw on reality TV with her trying to break into country was very white. And it was hard for her to be accepted, even though now she has great vocals, like as R&B. And I think that when she first got into music, she was put to be this sultry, sexy R&B singer, and that's when she got all that work done that she had to get taken out, and the boyfriend problems, and she really just wanted to be. She's from Memphis, and so I feel like that's why they kept bringing her up. We did see her struggle getting the respect from country white artists and other people that just wanted her to be a Black R&B singer, because like she said, country is home for her. So I think that's why they kept bringing her up. But I love that, like how she responded. It was very classy of her because, K Michelle can get real ratchet real quick if she wants to. She is from Memphis. So I think that she's been doing a lot of work on herself, and you see it all over her Instagram. So I'm proud of her for her growth. So
yeah. And I hate the comparisons with Beyonce and Taylor Swift. Another show was saying how she's doing what Taylor Swift did, the reverse, because Taylor came out as a country artist and switched to pop, and Beyonce's doing. They're not even on the same. I mean, Taylor Swift is great in what she does. You know what I mean? Her fans, she has a great following. But Beyonce, there's no comparison to me. Well, last story. So Shannon Sharpe and Mike Epps have finally made up with this quick beef. So it all started when Cat Williams was on Club Shay Shay. And Cat was dropping names. He mentioned Mike Epps. Mike Epps had a concert, his comedy show, and he mentioned both of them, but he later apologized and said, I was just trying to get clout off of that interview. Well, this past weekend, he had another performance. And in the performance, he said that Shannon Sharpe reached out to him to come on his show, but he said he wasn't going to go on there and sit in front of him so he can stare at his private parts, look like Madea. And he said if he put on a wig, he could be Madea's sister. And he told him to stop wearing all those tight shirts and whatever. Well, Shannon Sharpe said on his podcast with Ocho Cinco, he said he didn't mention Mike Epps' name. He said, but he needs to keep his name out of my mouth. He said, I don't care about the gay jokes. I don't care about none of that. He said, I never chase a lie. He said, but I don't want anyone lying on my name. And he said, don't make me drop my DMs. And he said, and I'm going to see you soon in person. We're going to see if you have that same energy when I see you in person. So Mike Epps goes to social media and makes a video, and he admits that he reached out to Shannon Sharpe about being on his show. And he said, and he also said that he doesn't fight anymore. And he referenced to, if you do pull up, it's going to be more than fight. Well, Shannon Sharpe went to X or whatever social media, and he apologized to his fans and said that him and Mike Epps have decided that they're going to meet at All-Star Weekend, and they're going to speak man to man about their issues, and they know how dangerous the conversation was getting, and he apologized. To me, Mike Epps feel like he's trying to get in on all this, Cat Williams went on Club Shay Shay, did huge numbers. Monique recently did huge numbers. He's trying to get in there, but I feel like he's trying to do it the wrong way. What are your thoughts on why? I know he's a comedian. They say things, they joke around, but Lanier, what are your thoughts on what he's doing? His angle.
First, let me say this. When Shannon left Undisputed, Shannon became Undisputed.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse to the hierarchy than when someone of color, nothing worse. And he is, he has a lot of irons in the fires, keeping himself busy. But with that comes the vitriol of it all, of notice and word, ... So unfortunately, he's gonna feel all of that, and God willing, he just lets it slide off because it's gonna come. The bigger he gets, the more it's going to come. When Kat's interview dropped, everything that happened after Kat's interview, Mike Epps was one of the first people that put up a video. I won't be on there. I won't come tell my story. Like he was one of the first people. Well, hell, I wish you would have talked about me. Like, cause I don't remember Cat Williams saying anything negative in regards to Mike Epps. But he was one of the first people that put up a video. And I understand where Shannon is coming from. He's like, don't lie on me because I didn't reach out to you. You reached out to me. But like you said, this is Mike Epps trying to capitalize off of all of this.
Right.
And you're going about it the wrong way. I will say this. Cat Williams, I absolutely love you. I love the fact that you brought Monique on your Dark Matters tour.
Yes.
I love it. She's feeling the love from the people because she hasn't really been feeling that love. I don't care what nobody says. If somebody chooses to go on a show, don't nobody else complain. And like she said, it's the messenger. It's the person that is coming from that people have the issue with. It's not, they're not even hearing the message because other people have been saying it and you've accepted it. It's the messenger. So congratulations on being a part of Cat Williams' tour.
Yeah, and she got a standing ovation first night. I think it was Saturday night. She got a standing ovation, 1 minute standing ovation. I want to talk about her. I said this last time, but I do want to talk about her interview after this. But Brittany, so Judge Mathis, he says that he thinks Club Shay Shay could be dangerous. He said he doesn't believe in people going on public platform and airing their grievances against other people. He said they should do it one-on-one privately. What are your thoughts on that?
I do think that Club Shay Shay is a little messy, but I think that's why we tune in. And I think that Mike Epps is just reaching for his moment in that you missed in his response. He was like, I don't fight no more. I blankety blank, blank, blank. Like,
Yeah.
he took it too far. And it's just like, the conversation has moved on. Like you said, we moved on to Monique. It's other people, like we have moved past the Cat Williams interview and you still looking for your moment. And it just gives like you just chasing a moment because even after he would like go watch my Netflix show and stuff like that. And it's like, Mike Epps, please go back to buying the block. Like, we go renovate some homes, stay in your lane, and then people will stream as they see accordingly. So I do feel like it's reaching for a moment.
Yeah. Chike, what are your thoughts on Mike Epps in this Shannon Sharpe situation?
I have issue with middle-aged men going back and forth like middle school girls. And I too have a podcast. If you haven't checked it out, Conversations with Chike Evans, please check it out. IG. I think that there's a responsibility that we have having platforms as such to our audience. And my thing has always been inspiration. This is why I do what I do, because I'm about education and inspiration. I will never have someone on my platform and deal in mess. I don't like messy. We have enough of that in other areas and other aspects. What Judge Mathis said, he said what he said. That's his opinion. But before we had this, there was Wendy Williams. And there's always going to be a place for that type of stuff to be, but you don't have to perpetuate it. I would like to see a platform where people are welcomed on so you can get educated about what they do, their life if they choose to share, and maybe a nugget or two of information on how you can be successful as well.
Yeah.
That's where I draw the mess. I don't deal in. And I think that it's shameful for two grown men, like I said, to have fans, and with Shannon Sharpe being a former football player and having young men look up to him, to deal messy and to perpetuate, especially in Blackness, to perpetuate that negativity. I don't like it.
Yeah. I think
that way anyway. I love what he's doing. I'm sorry. I love what he's doing with highlighting artists and getting to, an exposure of artists.
Right.
But the messiness is not necessary.
And to add to what Chike saying, like, he's on there instigating. No, cat, let me take a sip. Like, it's very, it is very, zesty, according to what Mike said. Like, but
all of that is worth, those clicks and those numbers are worth that to him because it registers in dollars. When are dollars going to stop being the thing that we revere so much?
Yeah.
What about respect and dignity?
Well, and he's really just letting them talk. They're the ones.
He's not engaging in
right.
that aspect. He's listening and
he's asking questions based on what they're saying.
Yeah, like he's not like, oh, well, what happened next and what you do and what he do. He's not even doing that. He's just letting them talk. He's like, let me take the sip. Ooh, that's a lot.
Right. Yeah.
Oh God. Okay. Well,
I felt like in the Cat Williams interview, he did kind of like ask some leading questions to be like, well, why this? Well, what about this? Well, why you ain't? I felt like it wasn't like very bad, stick to the fact, or like it wasn't like, well, let's bring it back. He definitely, I felt like he kept going.
I would agree. He kind of comes from a messy disposition a little bit. He kind of entertains that a little bit.
Well, let's talk about Monique real quick. So I didn't watch the full Cat Williams interview. I saw clips of it, but I did listen to the Monique interview while I was at the gym the other day. And so some of the top things she talked about which I didn't realize this. She talked about Oprah, and I like Oprah, I don't, whatever. But she was saying how she had talked about how Oprah had contacted her and wanted to bring her brother on because brother had reached out by being on the show, talk about how he had molested Monique. And Monique said that she appreciate the fact that Oprah called her, to have before she had him on. But what she didn't like was when she saw the show, she saw her mother on there, and her and Oprah had already had conversation about how they both had contentious relationships with their mothers, and that she went and did that. She said, if I would have known my mother been on there, I would have shut that down. You know what I mean? Because she doesn't even deal with her mom.
Was it her mom and her dad, or was just her mom?
She mentioned her mom. She mentioned her mom.
Well, both of them were on there, but because her and Oprah had that conversation about their mothers, that was important.
Yeah. And so she said after the whole Precious situation where she said she fulfilled her contractual agreement, she got paid like $55,000 to do the independent film. And then they wanted her to promote the movie overseas on her own dime. And so she said that after that all went down, Tyler Perry and would tell people that, well, Lee Daniels said that she was going to be blackballed. Not saying he was going to do it, but it was going to be blackballed. And Tyler Perry, her saying, said that he said that she was difficult to work with. And she actually has footage that she had sent Shannon Sharpe of Tyler Perry apologizing for saying that on the phone. Anyway, but then she talked about this, which this was new to me, that she started noticing roles that Lee Daniels had told her about, had promised to her. Oprah started getting them. She said that the butler, she was supposed to be in to play the mom, and she said next thing she know, Oprah's playing it. And there was another I forgot, it was a biopic, and she was supposed to be in there, and Oprah ended up getting the role. And she was wondering, why is this person? What are you really doing? You know what I mean? Especially because they had the same demographics. I'm not demographic. Well, size, and they talked about that because Shannon Sharpe didn't want to say overweight, but she said, "As big as you are, you can say what it is. We've had." But so she talked about that, but then she also talked about how Lee Daniels reached out to her, and not only did he apologize to her privately, he apologized to her publicly. And and that's how they were able to work together. And when they did their last film together, she said it was like nothing ever happened. She's mentioned how Tiffany Haddish did an interview. I can't remember, it was some prestige magazine. I guess she came up, and Tiffany said, "Well, I don't do business like Monique. I don't have that type of husband." And Monique said, "And that beautiful baby, maybe if she did have a husband like mine, she wouldn't be sitting on 2 DUIs right now and accused of grooming a child." But she talked about her husband and how significant he is in her career, and how she said that although it's her third marriage, she said it's almost like her first, because she was raised to be the tough one, to be strong. She had an ego. And she said that it changed with this husband. There was no conversation, but one day she was sitting at the head of the table, and then she realized she didn't belong there. And from that point on, she started letting him lead. But the day when people are saying that she keeps whining about the same things, but she thinks she's lost $25 million. You know what I mean? Because, when you win an Oscar, that's supposed to increase your value in terms of what you can demand in your roles and things like that. And the total opposite happened for her. For 10 years, she didn't work much. You know what I mean? And so people are going in on her saying that she's always complaining, she's always doing this, but it seems like everything that she says she has receipts for. But then there was another podcaster, he was going in on her about this. We're tired of hearing this, whatever. And someone said, y'all say y'all want to protect Black women, but you don't. I'm gonna ask you, Linnea, what are your thoughts on Monique's interview? Any clips you heard it, and do you think that she's beating a dead horse?
So I have to watch the full thing. I've only seen clips. I haven't been able to really sit down and just take it in. But when something has happened, you're either going to do one of two things. You're either going to fall back and be a victim, or you're going to fight. You only have two options. And when you know that you've been wrong, you're like, I know that I've been wrong and I know what I deserve. I'm going to keep fighting for what I deserve. So, and again, this ties into the messenger. She's been saying this for a long time. When Taraji said it, it was all hugs and love. When Taraji said it in her book, which came out in like 2016 or something like that. But it wasn't until you saw that Black woman break down that you really embraced her.
Mm-hmm.
When you saw her broken, like Monique said, oh, I gotta be broken in order for you to accept it, or it's because I'm this fat Black woman, you're not accepting it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shouldn't she have been paid for the Parkers? Every other show that has syndication and been bought, people getting these residual checks.
Mm-hmm.
And you mean tell me she don't get nothing, her or Couch is on
Right.
for the Parkers? Like, that don't make sense to me. The math is not mathing. And I don't know, maybe I'm thinking about the wrong thing, but any Black woman who has won an Oscar, her thing don't lift off like these white women do after an Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's supposed to. It's almost like it's a detriment to your craft and to you just for winning it.
Yeah.
Because what has Halle Berry really done since then? Like, what? You understand what I'm saying? So, listen, everybody's entitled to speak their truth. And I think that people just have double standards when it comes to who the messenger is.
Yeah. She talked about being blacklisted. She said that Kevin Hart, one day she had talked to him and he was telling her how she's like a big sister to him, and how he really looks up for her, and anything that he can do, let him know. She said he even loaned her and her husband money when they were going through it, and they paid it back. But she said that she had had a deal with some company about a project. And Kevin's team said that they would pick it up, they would endorse it, put his name on it. And she said a few months went by, and she didn't hear from him, but she got a call from the company saying that he had stepped out the deal. So she reached out to Kevin, and Kevin said, no, that's not true. I'll talk to my people. I'll talk to my people. She said she never heard back from him. And so, so you can't eat, you can't, and she was on a hit comedy show, the Parkers. She, that Oscar winner, you know what I mean? Chike, what are your thoughts on her interview? And do you think she's beating a dead horse?
The horse isn't dead. She's still going through it. I mean, her debt, I'm sure, was detrimental to her livelihood.
Yeah.
It put a dent in her life and her family's life. And she wants to recoup what she lost.
Yeah.
It's I think your average person, if they put it in the context of if you left your employer now and your employer decides to tell every other business in America not to mess with you, and you can't get a job and what your specialty is, you would probably feel the pain in which she feels. And that's basically what happened. They put salt on her game, and she was unable to earn an income based off of the reputation that was out in the streets about her, knowing that it was a lie. And you have one of the contributors to that saying that it was a lie and it was wrong. And she even goes on to say that a certain mogul that was involved in all that said in a private conversation, I ain't giving her nothing, or I ain't doing nothing for her, in the background. You have to listen to the interview. She goes into detail.
Yeah, she does.
But with that kind of weight on you and coming from such influential people in the business, that's a hurt piece.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she has an Oscar. You would think that she would be soaring and excelling, but she's not. And to have a reputation that you're difficult to work with in this industry is everything, because It's based off of relationships.
Mhm.
Sometimes people don't get a job for craft. Linnea knows. Sometimes you walk in and they be like, oh, Linnea. Oh, yeah, automatically. Yes, Linnea.
Yeah.
Sometimes your name is in a room before you even can make a phone call. They're discussing you before they even know they want you.
Mm-hmm.
But if salt is put on your name beforehand, you're not getting the job. You're not making money. And to put things clear in context so that people understand why it seems like Monique was being difficult. She had just come off of tour. She had just stopped her show. She was on break. She had just had twins and she wanted to relax. And basically they were trying to get her to go on this tour for press in Cannes, but her obligation to the film had already been concluded. Her
And
deal
she
was
had to
with
pay
Lee
for it
Daniels.
herself.
Yeah, and they wanted her to pay.
Yeah.
She had to pay for her own.
The deal with Lee Daniels was already concluded.
Right.
What happened with Precious? Precious was a little independent film. It was a little engine that could.
Right.
And Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey saw it and was amazed by it. And they was like, oh, wow, we want to put money behind this.
Yeah.
So that took it on another level. Monique's dealing with Lee was already done.
Yeah.
It was after they jumped into it and wanted to produce it and give it more legs. Then they were like, okay, we need for her to help us. She didn't have a deal with them.
Right.
And at that time, I understand she wanted to stay home and chill. And then rightfully so, okay, you want me to leave my kids? You want me to come out of my little vacation? What are you going to do for me? Oh, we're not paying you nothing. Okay, well, then I can't go. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Because she asked, is there a price behind me coming out there? And they said no.
Yeah. How can you be mad at her for wanting to live her life?
And she said she wasn't even mad that they weren't paying her to do that, and she was not mad at the salary that she accepted to do the movie. She just didn't want to do that
because the business of things were done. The business of things had already concluded.
Exactly. Yeah. Brittany, what are your thoughts on this, real quick?
I don't feel like Monique is beating a dead horse. I feel like she wants vindication for what she's gone through, and I feel like everybody is entitled to their experience. Whatever their perception of that experience is their perception of that experience. Like, and you cannot discredit them, because that is what they perceive their experience to be. And I think the difference between Monique's interview and Cat Williams' interview, Monique stuck to her facts. It wasn't like she's up there talking down on Oprah, calling Oprah names. Like Cat Williams is very much like they losers. They did, like he kind of was shading, but he's a comedian, right? So it's funny. But Monique was very factual and matter of fact about her experiences with this industry. And that's what kind of makes it believable. Even when she was talking on the trailers and how she was in a trailer, it exploded. Nobody contacted her to check on her. The only time she received contact was when they were like, "Where are the wigs?" Like it was very much like
they didn't even believe her. They didn't even believe that it happened until she put the video out.
Yeah, she put the pictures out. She put this is what I was talking about. Like so when y'all say that what's her name was talking about Yvette from Baby Boy, I forgot her name. Taraji was talking about how we don't make money. Let me show y'all an example. Mine exploded. Like it's very matter of fact to where it is believable and doesn't seem like she's coming out of emotions. I feel like Tiffany Haddish is way out of line, and this is the same person that had to be issued a cease and desist by Beyonce for talking about her when she hung out with her. And so it just be like she just run her mouth too much for me, and she's not even funny to me. And so I just wish that Tiffany would kind of like stay in her lane a little bit. So I definitely hate to hear that Monique experience, hearing that from Tiffany as well. It just left a bad taste in my mouth with I already experienced with Tiffany.
Yeah. And one thing that she did say about her husband, he taught her not to hate anybody and not to to have those feelings for anybody else. And she said, because she's used to if I don't like nothing somebody said, I don't like you. But he was like, no. He taught her not to do that. And so she said that she doesn't hate anybody. But she said that when you become so big that you can no longer pick up the phone, that's when I'm going to start talking. And that's what
you can tell doesn't seem emotional at all when she tells her side of the story. And I think that's what makes it so believable.
And I don't want to get into a big thing about her and her husband, but why do we judge people on what they decide to do in their marriage?
Right.
Whatever power dynamic and however they decide to have their marriage, the structure of their relationship, that's their business.
Yep.
And they're very transparent about it. Even on a radio show, they had talked about they were open marriage. They have no problem sharing whatever they decide for their marriage.
But part of the issue with that, in regards to why someone started this thing relating to her husband, because I'm gonna be real, I only went by what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
The negativity that was spun, somebody started that negative narrative about her husband, you know what I mean, when she got with him for whatever reason.
Right.
There needed to be a, I don't know if I want to say a fall guy, in regards to why she's acting so crazy and she's being erratic and difficult. It's him. I mean, that has to be the worst, you know what I mean? And as I see whatever, I don't know how long you can fake something for, right? They've been together for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? He's been there. What they do in their marriage is their business. But I think that people somebody created that narrative to kind of put the emphasis on, oh yeah, this is why she ain't acting right and stuff like that. And if we had more time, we'd have to discuss this whole DL.
I was just about to bring that up real quick.
And we would have to discuss that because his responses and that vitriol coming from him. Ooh, baby.
I'll tell the story real quick. So she was on his radio show. He wasn't there. And, you know, they were having fun. They wanted to play a game. I forgot what the game was called. But anyway, so they said,
Would you rather?
Would you rather?
Would you rather?
Mm-hmm. Would you rather your husband have sex with Lee Daniels protected or raw with, who was the other person?
Corinne Steffen.
And she called DL. He was just like, you know, she said he already had attitude. We picked the phone.
Because they called him first. His people called him first.
Mm-hmm. And so
that's what it was.
And she was like, this is the question they just asked me, you know, and he said, well, that's how it is, you know, to be very dismissive. And I think that's when she got her legal team involved. So they didn't air that segment, but he's saying that didn't happen. He's going off on Monique. He's talking about her weight. This is after the interview. He said, I never seen somebody work out so much that gains weight. It's just, I don't like, and I like DLQ. I think he's very smart, especially when it comes to politics and things like that. But I don't like the way he's doing this stuff
right here.
Yeah.
And she came back, her and Sydney.
So
where she misspoke was about the cease and desist.
Right.
What she should have said was, we told him we were going to get our legal team involved. And she can't, her and Sydney had a whole live and she apologized. I misspoke. So I apologize.
Right.
This is what happened. And that was it.
Yeah.
Every time you put up a video, I'm gonna come back. And I like DL too, but this right here, this is way something else.
Yeah.
That, you know, it ain't pretty. It ain't pretty at all.
It was so inappropriate. It was so
inappropriate question.
I wish you would.
What are you trying to say about my husband?
About my man like that.
Yeah.
Like, I wish you would. It was so inappropriate.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it from a black man to black man situation. Why would I step into a situation to disrespect another black man, another grown black man in that manner?
Yep.
We have to do better with each other if we want other people to start doing us better. Yep. How can you expect for someone else to treat you right and give you rights and respect if we can't do it within our community?
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say.
And then black men, please stop coming for black women. Like, if you have a problem with a black woman that is married to a black man, please address that man. Stop getting into it with these arguments with women and going back and forth with the women. It is nothing for you to address her husband as her man. I have a
response for you, Brittany. Only men that have problems with women that have leverage and power will do something like that.
I hate that. It looks so demeaning for him to be talking crazy about Monique like that. And she's sitting there with her husband. And you talked about him out of his presence. Like, address Sydney.
You know, I saw this, we'll leave it here, but I saw this, someone said, we as black people have so much against us. We don't need to be at war. Men and women don't need to be at war with each other. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Brittany, as always, thank you for joining us. Linnea, you already know. And Chicky, I'll see you.
Thank you.
When we come back, our interview with Love and Marriage DC's Winter Harris, right back after this.